The following program is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Good morning, Central Valley. I am your host, Craig Barton, and welcome to the Real Estate Radio Network, the most important hour of radio each week, here on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Real Estate Radio is a show dedicated to bringing some rational thought to the crazy world that we live in and helping you to rebuild the Central Valley's housing and credit markets. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice, and it's exactly what you are going to hear every Sunday morning right here from 7 to 8 a.m. on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Good morning, Princess.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Da, da. I don't know all the
Johnny,
words,
she's
but I
pretty
love
cheery
the
this
song.
morning, isn't she?
I only had one cup.
You only had one cup?
One cup of coffee today, boys. I'm trying to keep it down to a solid gallon.
A solid gallon.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 and 4 gallons I have normally, I'm trying to keep it down to 1.
Yeah, it's called pacing yourself,
That's
kid.
it. That's it. Yeah.
How was your Memorial Day weekend? You were headed out of town last week.
Yeah, I did some camping. I did some hanging out in the sun. I honestly, 12 kids camping.
Yeah.
Yeah. My boyfriend and a friend of mine took 12 kids camping. And I just want to thank God for my oldest son, who's 21, because he took all the other little boys fishing.
Oh,
it was very cute.
Cool.
It was very cute. Yeah, we had a great time, but it was 30 degrees at night up at Dinky last weekend.
Yeah.
And it was cold. I wasn't prepared for that. It's like 90 degrees down here. I expected it to be 70.
That's a reason to snuggle. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, 12 kids? Yeah, they're pretty dirty.
Well,
I don't know that I want to snuggle with them.
Hey, as always, it's so good to have my special guest host, Miss Michelle Pettis.
Thank you.
How you doing, kid?
I'm great.
Yeah, Michelle is a licensed realtor. She is one of the hardest working gals in show business. I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm in show business?
Yeah, little did you know.
Wow.
You have a radio show, for crying out loud.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Hello.
And you know what? And there's a lot of work to be done out there in real estate.
There is
just
a
gonna
lot
say,
of work. Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on.
Thanks so much for being here, I should say. The Real Estate Radio Network gives Michelle and I the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for one full hour each and every week. This is better than billboard advertising. I'm just going to tell you right now.
You think so?
I do.
I saw one when I was driving to Modesto this last week.
Yeah.
That lights up and like has pictures and like cartoons.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that might be cool too.
You think we could hang it from
Maybe
the
we
studio
could add it.
KMJ?
Maybe we could add it. The talking billboard.
It's all about diversification,
That's
Johnny.
right. Cartoons.
Yeah.
You have a cartoon voice.
We were just saying that to Johnny before we came on the show. You should have been a cartoon character, buddy. Our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market so we can help bring you
back home.
And I mean that.
I believe it.
After the last 6 years, it should be our goal.
To bring everybody home.
It should be your goal as well, to bring people back home. Well, on today's show, the mortgage settlement that happened last year, $26 billion. Wells Fargo Chase, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Ally Bank. Well, let me tell you, there's some violations that are still... People are being violated here in California.
Really? That's shocking. I think we were mocking this last year.
Yeah. Well, they're still on the prowl, let me tell you. And short sales routinely show up on credit reports as foreclosures. Yes, we are such a credit-driven society that we've got it all figured out, and we don't even know how to code short sales different than foreclosures, and we're going to talk about that. It's still amazing. Actually, it's not amazing, but buying beats renting in 64% of all metros in the United States.
I like that.
After 3 years.
I'm excited to hear more about that.
Yeah, makes sense. New rules may ease mortgage processes for retirees. Yeah, if you've got gray hair, they're not letting you buy homes anymore. I'm just kidding.
That's so funny.
I've got gray hair, so I can say
You don't have hair.
Oh,
did I say that out loud? Retirees. So
Johnny and I
want more.
We're going to talk about that.
Because the retirees, really, truly, so many of them have lost so much over the last 10 years just in retirement,
Think
stocks,
about being
bonds,
a baby boomer and all of a sudden it's time to retire.
Yeah.
And how are you going to make that magic work?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I want to hear more.
Yeah, there's also 3 big banks nationally that halt all foreclosure sales. after the U.S., really it's the U.S. government, begins to tweak orders in terms of how they are managing, or servicers are managing, the last 60 days of the foreclosure process. It's a real interesting article.
Is that more shadow they're creating?
No, that's not more shadow. Well, it could be. It depends upon how long they hang around the alleys. So, and there's new rules that may ease the mortgage processes for retire. Oh, we just talked about that one. Sorry. And then, excuse me, I skipped. I went backwards as opposed to forward.
Yeah.
And then the seller chooses a lender.
Seller chooses the lender.
How much of a seller's market? Is that the epitome of it really, truly being a seller's market?
You know what it was years ago?
Yeah.
It became a nightmare for agents.
Sellers said, okay, all you folks line up on the curb, stand on your head, and
be pre-approved, but now go pre-approved with Tom, Dick, and Harry so that we can,
Did she
be
say
sure that you got approved. Honestly, it's...
Skip's in the next office going, mute button. Yeah,
what?
There you go. We're also going to take some listener questions. No, you're okay.
Okay.
Make sure you stay with us. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions, or questions as you're just wanting to know what we're on this morning.
I think you're calling me deaf.
No, I did not. I did not.
Is that the word?
Just give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. It all starts with one call, and that's from you. Call us anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. You can also go to our website. Check out our resources online. All you need to do is just ask Craig. Go to our website. It's about time.
About time.
Go to
Somebody
our website.
ask Craig.
Somebody ask. Please. We have quite a few people asking Craig, but we need more. It's always good.
Yeah.
We need a nice cross-section. Go to our website, valleywidesells.com. Again, that's valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use press 4 keywords.
Friend Valleywide on Cree.
Or use press 4 keywords. Johnny, did she cut you off? Or you cut her off?
I cut myself off,
I
think.
That was your own mute button?
I am daft today. Is that daft? Is daft the word? That means slow?
Yeah, daft.
Daft. I'm a little daft today.
Okay. Or use press 4 keywords.
KMJ Hot Property. Oh, wait. KMJ Call Valleywide. Johnny, can we start over?
I know.
No. I'm
KMJ
sorry.
Call Valleywide to get connected to the show anytime. Well, you heard us use press 4. If you're using press 4 right at the moment, if you want to call into the show, use press 4 keywords KMJ Call Valleywide, not KMJ Hot Properties, because if you say KMJ Hot Properties, you're going to get more information about this week's hot property sent right to your phone, as opposed to calling us. If you'd like to call us, use KMJ Call Valleywide, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm trying to catch up.
You were a little ahead there.
I needed my other 2 gallons.
There you go. Well, let's talk about today's hot property. Today's hot property is brought to you by Perfect Inspections. Now, whether it is a residential inspection, a multifamily inspection, or a commercial inspection, use press 4 keywords, Perfect Home Inspections, or call Dale today for your perfect home inspection at 352-6941. Again, that's 352-6941. Now, this particular property is a HUD home, and I'm going to tell you right now, if we've got a listener out there that's looking to downsize into something that is a condominium in a great development, just doesn't want to have to go out and mow the back 40.
No kidding.
This is it. This particular condominium, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 928 square feet, so just under 1,000 square feet, built in 1984. It does have its own personal garage. Listed at $79,000. This is a HUD home, which means that the previous owners had FHA financing on the property and unfortunately lost it. The bank took it back. The bank filed a claim with HUD. HUD made the bank whole and has now taken the property, has begun marketing it as a HUD home. We like doing HUD homes.
We do. Can I make a couple comments on this condo? Because I've been actually shopping for condos with a few different clients over the past, say, year.
Yeah.
Let me just say, this is awesome that it is a HUD-approved condo because so many requirements out there on condominium units that do not allow FHA financing.
Correct.
So the fact that this one is already okayed for FHA financing, those of you who are out there shopping for condos have heard your agent say, I'm sorry, your financing can't buy this condo.
Right.
I'm sorry, your financing can't buy this condo because of occupancy ratios and different
HOA
things.
delinquencies, pending litigation, those are...
So the fact that you walk into this condo looking at it, knowing that your loan can suffice is really nice.
And with most lenders, one of the things, let's take it a step further. Not only is it the case that this particular unit did have FHA financing on it at one point in time, but being that it's a HUD home, even if the complex is no longer approved, you can still get FHA financing on this. It does not matter.
The one next door may not be FHA approved, but this particular one is in this
for
complex.
FHA financing.
Yes, and I think that is the beautiful part for those folks who have been struggling to find a nice condo out there.
Now, the HOA dues or fees monthly are $256, but a list price, which is also the appraised value, $79,000.
When do we move? $79,000? Are you kidding me?
And I'm telling you.
And it's FHA approved.
Yeah, and it's your own place.
2-bedroom, 2-bath with a garage.
Yep.
Those of you renting out there, just call us.
Yeah, exactly. If you'd like more information about this hot property, it's 3700 West Barstow Avenue, Unit 137, Fresno, California, 93711. Please give us a call anytime. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Or use... Press 4 keywords.
Okay, now you can use KMJ Hot Property.
Yes, you can.
I'm there now, boys.
She's back caught up again, John. And we'll send you more information about this hot condo property. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, baby. Right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Well, top stories in the news. Fresno County listings. Hey, we're almost back up to 1,100. Woo-woo. That's 30 more than last week.
We're up 30?
Yeah.
Wow.
30.
I don't feel it. I'm just going to say I do not feel it.
Well, 30 is not enough.
Yeah.
That you will feel it.
I'm going to tell you, this holiday weekend was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, calls were lower than normal, maybe for, because it was a holiday.
Yeah.
People weren't on the phone. But let me tell you, they were cruising in the net because our website was hit. I mean, blew up last weekend. And personally, I think it's due to the fact we have a lack of inventory.
Yeah.
They're not finding what they want as quickly as they used to when they were looking. So they're on there all the time, hoping
really
there's more properties coming on the market.
You bring up a good point. It'd be really interesting to somehow get a pulse from the consumer. With inventory levels being as low as they are, we do get the occasional, hey, I'm unhappy with my agent.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't be unhappy with your agent, depending upon what you're unhappy about. If it's low inventory,
there's nothing your agent
there's
can
nothing
do.
that your agent's going to do. But it'd be interesting to get kind of a feel for, so how much time now, or how much more time do you spend looking for that needle in the haystack, per se? Or do you think you're going to find something that isn't on the market, or how have you been searching in the past? Are your search habits getting any better?
I think what I'm concerned about, just as an agent, is I see them pushing their price point up and up and up and up to the extremes of their budget because they no longer can find the properties.
Isn't that natural in today's market?
No, I think it's natural in our society.
Yeah.
It's an immediate gratification society.
Right.
If they don't find it right now, what can I do to get it?
Right.
How can I tweak it?
Right.
If they're looking for a property that's $200,000 in the 93710 or the 93705, whatever, and they don't find it, now suddenly they're looking for the 225 property or the 250 property instead of just holding tight and realizing that
cooling their jets.
Yeah, just relax. Another one will come up. They're pushing it higher, which is in turn pushing the entire market up.
Oh yeah,
big time. Thanks for the extra 30 notification that I have 30 more properties to show my clients this week, Craig. Appreciate that. Since I already showed them the other 1,054 out there.
Now you're going to work everybody up into a tizzy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, the Los Angeles Times reports the mortgage settlement violations persist in California. There's an advocacy group here in California that's reporting that, you know what, banks aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing to help people stay in their homes, said Kevin Stein, Associate Director of the California Reinvestment Coalition, a San Francisco-based group that lobbies for low-income Californians. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman announced this past week that he planned to sue. Now, these are fighting words. I bet you the attorneys that they have on retainer for Bank of America and Wells just,
another one. Let's go.
One.
How many hours can we rack up?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the billable hours.
That's it.
Plan to sue Wells Fargo and Bank of America for flagrantly violating terms of last year's $25 billion national mortgage settlement.
You know, I'm just waiting for the next disclosure to be thrown at the real estate agents to have them sign because somebody sued somebody somewhere, and now we have another disclosure.
And we just need to add to the stack. Well,
That's
last
right.
month, the California Reinvestment Coalition released a survey of housing counselors and lawyers that found mortgage servicers were not living up to the terms of the settlement. I find it is interesting that the cross-section of society that was surveyed was housing counselors and lawyers. I don't know if, really if it's statistics, you can get any statistic to say what you want it to say.
You can spin it any way you like.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
Totally.
And short sales. We're going to talk about short sales and how they are routinely showing up on credit reports, on consumers' credit reports, as a foreclosure and not as a short sale. Well, are there a large number of, we're asking the question, are there a large number of homeowners who have negotiated short sales with lenders at risk because of a startling omission in the American credit system? I've always said over the years that credit reporting is not a fine science.
No,
I talked to a consumer end of this week, and he says, I spoke with this one company that we need to pay off a medical collection, and I negotiated a settlement, and he did really good. I think it was like 50 cents on the dollar, so it wasn't bad.
Right.
Took it from $3,000 down to
$1,500.
about $1,500. And he says, upon complying with your demand of paying $1,500, and it said on the demand, hey, we'll
settle it for this.
Settle it for this. Will you provide me with proof that the account has been paid in full? And they said, oh, no, we don't do that.
Who does that? That go to another department?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You don't breathe there? Okay.
It goes to the next collection company who has it. Thus, the credit is not a fine art.
Who tries to collect on the balance? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because have you seen some folks where they have a credit card collection from years ago and it's gone to this collection company? Then it moved to the next collection company. So it ends up being on there like 7 times, but it's really one stinking collection that's just been duplicated over and over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a fine art, guys.
Yeah, the credit reporting system now that we currently have in place at this time does not have a separate code that distinguishes a short sale from a foreclosure. Yet there are crucial differences between the two. Now, let's say as an example for FHA financing, if you have a short sale and you have no derogatories prior to the short sale closing, you could conceivably, some lenders may not still allow you because they may have different or more stringent overlays, but some lenders may approve you for FHA financing immediately.
Okay.
Assuming that it's not reported as a foreclosure on your credit report.
But I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not on the credit side any longer, charge-off, paid for less than owed. Aren't those the typical things that we would see a short sale tagged versus a foreclosure?
Settled for balance less than.
Sure.
Yeah.
Less than owed.
Yeah.
So just like the medical collection paid at half, wouldn't it show that's, a settlement?
You would think.
But they're not flagging it correctly. So someone at the institutions is what you're saying is reporting it.
Yeah,
is reporting it incorrectly.
Correct.
Great.
Exactly.
Lovely. Now we'll see lawsuits for that.
Yeah, no, we are. We already saw after a Capitol Hill hearing that took place May 7th back in Washington D.C. on credit reporting issues. Senator Bill Nelson, Democrat from Florida.
Oh gosh, here we go again.
Yeah, sent requests to both the Federal Trade Commission and the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau to investigate what he called the disturbing practice of misidentifying short sales and to pit. I feel like a Saturday Night Live skit. They did one with Elijah Cummings and a couple weeks ago. It was funny. The gentleman from Delaware, and they had the gal, what was it, Arias on the. It was a spoof, and they brought Arias, the gal that just got convicted of murdering her boyfriend or husband or whatever it was, and they said, we've got so and so Arias here in the studios, and said, were you aware? And it was the Benghazi hearings, and they said, were you aware of this? She goes, not until this morning. Were you aware of the Benghazi? What happened in Benghazi? Yada yada yada. Anyways.
Yeah, you're taking us off.
Yeah,
I'm lost now. I'm totally lost.
Yeah, well, the disturbing practice of misidentifying short sales and to penalize responsible parties in the mortgage and credit reporting industries if they don't fix this coding problem within 90 days. That's why I said when you said lawsuit.
Yeah. Here's my concern. Because, again, I'm getting on my soapbox. They're going to start.
I love it when you're on your soapbox.
I'm sorry, but they're going to start some kind of investigation that's going to cost us how many dollars as a nation, and then they're going to slap the hands of these people that they really aren't going to do anything about it. And how much money is this all going to cost us?
And then short sales are going to become a protected class.
They are already going bye-bye.
They already are.
They're going to be obsolete here soon. So let's go waste a bunch of our country's money because we have so much these days.
Well, how much of that is grandstanding? How much is that?
It's grandstanding because he doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Zillow, interesting enough, buying beats renting in 64% of metros after 3 years. Now, according to Zillow, in 64% of U.S. metros, buying is more affordable than renting if homebuyers plan to stay in their home for at least 3 years.
I agree.
I'm going to bet dimes to donuts that number, when they say staying in it at least 3 years, I bet you that number's shorter now. And the reason being is, why? Because of how quickly appreciation
is pushing,
exactly.
Right, it's pushing the pricing up.
And you've also got to take into consideration certain markets are going to perform better than other markets. I'm just going to take a bet. Fresno County, as an example, here in California, is performing better than Columbus, Ohio, or Detroit, Michigan. And there's certain reasons why. Okay. But I'm just going to say this is a national statistic.
Right.
I bet you here in Fresno that number's a whole lot higher than 64%.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yep.
Fresno, they're pushing hard.
Just for the simple fact that equity becomes the muscle when the market is this hot. It really does.
It does.
Well, the market's the muscle, I should say. Yep. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that Michelle and I share with you on our show, it all starts with one phone call. That's one ringy-dingy, right, Michelle?
Ringy-dingy.
Yeah. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979, the intermittent ring-a-ling-a-ling, right?
That's right.
Yeah, 800-979-3958. Or you can go to our website and just ask Craig and Michelle. Just ask.
We're getting some great
Craig.
questions on there.
We are. Well, it's real life stuff. And I think that's what, there's people out there that's listening to the show this morning that I think can really relate to some of the questions. Now, granted, we typically only have time for about two listener questions each week of all the questions that we get. On a good day, exactly. If we can even get through one. But I guarantee you someone can relate. Or if they can't relate, they will be able to shortly. As an example, they're looking for a house right at the moment, and then next thing you know, boom. It ends up being a case that, the question that we just answered on the show
pertains to them.
Helps to give them perspective.
Right.
Exactly. Go to our website, valleywidesells.com. Again, valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use press 4 keywords, friend Valleywide on Facebook. Or use press 4 keywords KMJ, call Valleywide to get connected to us anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Well, coming up, new rules may ease the mortgage process for retirees. 3 big banks nearly halt foreclosure sales after the U.S. tweaks orders. And the seller is going to start choosing the lender that I'm going to use? Yeah, really. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Mortgage interest rates are at historic lows, and there's never been a more affordable time to buy real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let the mortgage professionals at Valleywide help. Valleywide Homes has been helping homeowners with their mortgage needs since 1997. When it comes to the Valley's real estate, we know our way around the neighborhood. Call toll-free 800-979-3958 and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you. Valleywide Homes, NMLS number 342062, 235-952, California Department of Real Estate License 0122-8460. Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Did you know that all the tickets you can buy on different websites come from the same place? Did you know that you can buy every ticket you need to any event in the country, the whole country, from Pete's Seats right here in Fresno? If that's the case, you need to call Pete's Seats. Any ticket, anytime. Sports, concerts, theater. Hey, there's seats, and then there's Pete's Seats. Premium tickets for all events, local, national, worldwide. Don't settle for a regular seat when you can get a really good Pete's Seat. Online at peteseats.net or simply 294-SEAT. That's 294-7328.
How much should I be saving? When can I retire? What can I do to ensure that my estate will be left in the hands of my family once I'm gone? Is my hard-earned money safe in today's markets?
With all the uncertainty in today's world, all of us at the Island Group know it is our job to provide answers to these questions. Walk with us, the Island Group at UBS Financial Services. Call me, Kate Island, at 559-248-4097. That's 559-248-4097, and take the first step in protecting your financial future.
All rights reserved. UBS Financial Services, Inc. is a subsidiary of UBS AG. Member SIPC.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
You know, Michelle, there's new rules on the horizon that may ease the mortgage process for seniors.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah, well, Freddie Mac, in the past, it used to be a situation where retirement income couldn't be used to calculating. If, let's say, you were selling your home and wanting to transition to a smaller residence, unless you were receiving that retirement income. And
like today.
Yeah, like today. And I believe the standards were that you were receiving it for at least 6 months, that you would not be able to count it towards qualifying for that new purchase.
Okay.
Well, many retirees have been struggling to qualify for a mortgage, finding their post-retirement monthly incomes aren't really sufficient enough to get a loan under today's tough underwriting standards. The problem was particularly pronounced for retirees who were still making payments on car loans, credit cards, or home equity lines of credit, or who found they were unable to qualify for today's low debt-to-income standards. But mortgage giant Freddie Mac is now allowing retirees and others to use income from their 401ks, their IRAs, and other retirement assets to qualify for a loan. That, in turn, might open the door to a money-saving refinance or to lower an interest rate, or if they're deciding, as I mentioned earlier, to downsize and sell their home and get a smaller property. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the retirement account balances can be used to supplement their income for underwriting purposes, but the borrower does not actually have to draw from the balances in order to get the mortgage.
So tell me this.
Yeah.
Freddie Mac, generally, is it a 45, 43% debt-to-income ratio?
You know what? It all depends upon
the file.
The automated, the file in the automated underwriting system. There was a file that I was working on, within the last week. And it would, I think I was able to get it approved at like 46 points.
That's pretty high.
Something.
That's pretty high.
It is. You know, but for quite a while, I would say that we got pretty spoiled where we were able to see debt-to-income ratios upwards of 50% if you were utilizing Fannie Mae's underwriting engine, automated underwriting engine, desktop underwriter.
And it used to be you had to take money out of your 401k, liquidate it in order to utilize it for this. Yeah. And now they're not requiring it. That is nice. That's a nice feature for our retirees who can now leave their savings where it belongs.
Well, think of how many baby boomers. My gosh, there's a lot of baby boomers that are looking that will be looking to downsize, transition, what have you.
Sure.
It's big numbers.
It is big numbers.
Big numbers.
And let me just tell you, we want them to keep their money where it is.
Yeah.
It's economically good for our nation.
Yeah. It is. Well, here we go. 3 big banks nearly halt foreclosure sales after U.S. tweaks orders. Sales of homes in foreclosure by Wells Fargo and J.P. Morgan Chase. Wells Fargo is always in the news.
They
my
are.
Gosh. And Citigroup. 3 of the big ones that were part of that 46 billion or 26 billion. 46 billion. I just increased it on him. Just ask Craig. He doesn't know. Ground to nearly a halt after regulators revised their orders of treatment of troubled borrowers during the 60 days before they lose their homes.
So they were treating them poorly right before they lost their home. They stopped working with them and
slippery slope,
yeah.
Feels like to me. And that piggybacks on the story that we talked about earlier as far as the mistreatment of borrowers in California.
Yeah, it does. And years ago when this first started, nobody would answer the phone. Nobody had directions. Nobody understood it. Now that they understand it, they know what business practices are working well for their company. And so 60 days before it goes bye-bye, they're just not as able to assist.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Faxing your request 5 years ago to a fax number that you faxed
in Timbuktu
14 times. And you could never verify with anyone that anything was received. Yeah, well, the banks said that they recently paused the sales on May 6th to make sure that their late-stage foreclosures, those within the last 60 days, were in accordance with those guidelines that were required by the federal government in that settlement last year. The banks wouldn't say exactly which issues they had under scrutiny.
Of course not.
But they said that we are committed to making restitution.
Doesn't it sound like a political game?
Oh, my
Such
gosh.
a political nightmare.
Well, once again, we're going to do everything we can to not make Johnny feel the pain of getting an F in 2 classes, and he still gets to go to the prom.
Yeah.
He still gets to keep his car.
Yeah, what happened to cause and effect?
I don't know.
What happened to repercussions?
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome to America.
Well, if it makes a politician look better, then we'll just take the repercussions, put them on the sideline.
Well, no, we're going to talk about them right before it doesn't matter anymore, like Mr. Who was it, from Florida?
Bill Nelson.
Yeah, let's check out this short sale process right before short sales become an anomaly.
Well, the short sales are going to become extinct coming up here pretty quick.
Exactly. So let's stomp and grandstand and
and let my constituents know that I have your best interest.
That's right. I got your back.
Johnny.
What a joke.
Ay. Well, did you know that there's some sellers nationally that are in hot markets, I should say. I don't believe this becomes an issue until you're in a market where inventory is extremely low, like Fresno County. Mm-hmm. Fresno. Mm-hmm. And lots of buyers, like in Fresno. And mortgage market, I still think it's pretty easy to qualify. And they say tough. I don't think it's tough.
I think
tough compared to the years ago when you used to do a no income, no asset, stated income.
It's documents.
It's fully
show me. Prove me what you make. Prove to me what you make. And that it's consistent. And the documentation, because you're having to provide it, that's the hard part. If you don't have it, it's because you don't have it for probably a reason that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, it could be. Or if you're self-employed and you've got a great CPA, and your CPA makes you look 10 foot tall and bulletproof in the eyes of the IRS, and you don't pay any taxes.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. If you don't pay taxes on it, guess what, guys? You can't buy with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you didn't get it.
You got to pay the taxes on it.
Right. You got to pay the taxes on it.
It's all about the net, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But choosing a lender, are we going to see this again? Because I really, really think this led to a huge catastrophic bubble burst.
Yes. Some lenders are some sellers are, prior to putting their property on the market, making sure that they include in the verbiage. You're required to get not just pre-approved,
but pre-approved with John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
That you must utilize the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
And he's over at ABC Bank.
Yep.
And he's available from 10 to 11.
10 to 11.
That's seriously what I've seen.
In 2-minute increments. Every 15 minutes.
It's that kind of problem. And so for the average Joe realtor like myself, Jane realtor, it makes it a little tricky.
Clarifying that.
Yeah. Anyways, it makes it a little tricky because when I'm out there placing offers, there's so few properties that you have to do it promptly. You have to do it right away.
Thank you.
And if I don't have the pre-approval from John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt over at ABC Bank, who's available from 10 to 10:02, my client's offer doesn't get reviewed. Yeah,
well, you want to hear something interesting is we had a buyer that submitted an offer recently, pre-approved buyer that submitted an offer recently, and was required to get pre-approved through Nation Star Mortgage. Have you ever fallen into that black hole?
No.
Yeah, you don't want to, because you'll never talk to anybody at
any institution.
Oh, it's so bad. It is so bad. And why they would even, because isn't it, just because it's a seller's market, unless you're required to buy the seller, which is, and actually Bank of America did that recently. Well, I should say require that up until recently. You used to have to get pre-approved through a specific Bank of America loan rep. Then it became any Bank of America loan rep. And now it's, we don't care, we just want you pre-approved.
Yeah, we just want your money.
And I believe part of that might be because they're trying to remove the barriers because they're under such scrutiny that they're removing those obstacles.
Well, and they should.
I perceive it to be an obstacle.
I don't have a problem having my client also pre-approve with whomever they're requesting to confirm the information.
I'm good with that.
I deal with some builders and whatnot, and that's generally what they want to see. But I do have a problem when you're requiring things of folks.
Yeah. That should be considered staring.
Well, not only that, it's personal private information you don't want to just share with all 15 loan officers out there in the marketplace.
You don't want to share with just any John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, right?
He's only available from 10 to 10:02. It's no good.
In 15-minute increments.
That's right.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just think it's a bunch of hogwash.
Yeah, as long as, is it because some lenders just didn't do their job? Might be. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that Michelle and myself and Johnny, occasionally Johnny speaks up every once in a while. He shakes his head, use sign language. It all starts with one call, and that's a call to us.
800. Fingers down, Johnny.
Yeah, 800-979-3958. He has to work the board. Come on now. 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. You can also go to our website and just ask Ask Craig.
You're having a hard time saying that.
I am. It'll flow eventually.
Yeah.
Go to our website, valleywidesells.com. Again, that's valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use Press 4 keywords.
Friend Valley Wide on Facebook.
Or use Press 4 keywords.
KMJ, call Valley Wide.
To get connected to us anytime. Michelle's not that far ahead. I love it. We'd love to hear from you, really. AprilRealtor.com report shows the housing industry is accelerating. I don't know where it's accelerating to. Also, builder confidence improves in May, and there's a California Association of Realtor that reports the first quarter 2013 Housing Affordability Index is actually increasing. And another interesting article, truly a bubble watch. Today's rising home prices are a rebound, not another housing bubble. Just quite yet. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping to redefine real estate here on 105.9 at the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing investment property, let the experts at Valleywide Homes help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Visit our website at reofresnohomes.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958. And put the seasoned professionals of Valleywide Homes to work for you. Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use Press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Did you know that all the tickets you can buy on different websites come from the same place? Did you know that you can buy every ticket you need to any event in the country, the whole country, from Pete's Seats right here in Fresno? If that's the case, you need to call Pete's Seats. Any ticket, anytime. Sports, concerts, theater. Hey, there's seats, and then there's Pete's Seats. Premium tickets for all events, local, national, worldwide. Don't settle for a regular seat when you can get a really good Pete's Seat. Online at peteseats.net or simply 294-SEAT. That's 294-7328.
How much should I be saving? When can I retire? What can I do to ensure that my estate will be left in the hands of my family once I'm gone? Is my hard-earned money safe in today's markets?
With all the uncertainty in today's world, all of us at the Island Group know it is our job to provide answers to these questions. Walk with us, the Island Group at UBS Financial Services. Call me, Kate Island, at 559-248-4097. That's 559-248-4097. And take the first step in protecting your financial future.
All rights reserved. UBS Financial Services, Inc. is a subsidiary of UBS AG. Member SIPC.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, there's an April Realtor.com report, Michelle, that shows the housing recovery is accelerating as list price and inventories increase. Well, Realtor.com reported this week the leader, which is they are also the leader in real estate operated by Move, Inc., released its April data showing the U.S. housing market is on its way to a broad-based recovery and accelerated trends since March. Yeah, accelerated.
Accelerated? I feel like we're in the Indy 500.
Yeah. This is 200.
How many laps left? We're almost done.
Yeah, 200 plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
Well, the home buying season shifted into high gear last month as inventory and home list prices on Realtor.com increased by 4.12% and 2.63% month over month, respectively. As of April, homes are on the market nationwide approximately 81 days. Is it because of slow lenders? I'm not really sure. A decrease of nearly 11% since April of 2012, highlighting that while new homes are entering the market, that they are not being available for very, very long.
Yeah.
They come on and they're gone.
Poof.
Yeah.
Poof is right.
Poof.
Poof.
Really fast. It's interesting because when you look at average marketing time, I can see 81 days on a price range that's about 200,000. Or I guess it's all such a crapshoot because I've seen, the 380 plus average marketing time, 380 to 450 average marketing time is like 105 days.
Right,
yeah.
right.
But I'm curious, what would what would 81 days get you in today's market? At what price range? Or is it a distressed property to the point where it's just not that desirable?
I think in 81 days from the time it goes active to the time it is sold, not pending, sold.
Sold.
I think that's your 150 to 200.
Yeah.
Here in Fresno.
So that's an average transaction.
Yeah, 90 days, or it's just under 90 days,
Gotcha.
which generally you're doing a 30 or 60-day escrow, and with FHA, the guidelines the way they are, repairs on the property, et cetera, you're looking about 81 days from the time it goes active to the time it is complete.
There you go.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we just had one recently that was almost 180 days on the market. Yeah.
That's unusual.
Well, the quirky piece of it was it's a really nice property. It's a woodside home. It's 1,450 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
But you could buy brand new woodside out there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue.
It was, but no, the issue was this. There was an issue as far as Wells Fargo was the lender. We had some issues as far as the buyer was concerned. But it wasn't a problem. It was quirky. It was a quirky transaction. And it took time. And, it just took time.
And, can I just say to the consumers out there and to the sellers out there, no two transactions are ever the same.
You bring that up, and that's a very, very good point, because they aren't.
No.
Absolutely not.
Because no one can predict what caveat that house is going to have or that client's going to have. That may cause a little bit of a delay or a transition of some kind that has to be handled.
So, National Association of Home Builders reports that builder confidence approves in May.
I agree.
Yeah, and you know how I could tell? I didn't even have to read the article.
You just looked out your window at the rooftops popping up?
I did. I looked out at the rooftops. Granville was, I was driving into my neighborhood. Next thing you know, Granville's got 2 new models that are going up.
Nice.
They've got another...
Specs are back, baby.
Another 30 homes that are it's just amazing. It's
and you know what's so interesting is those builder incentives out there. Honestly, I'm starting to keep track of kind of what's going on. Yeah. It's very interesting to see what they're doing to get those buyers in.
Dangling some cheese for the mice to come play.
Some cheese. But, again, thank God for them, because we need the inventory.
Yeah.
It's just like those investors out there, building up our neighborhoods. Same thing.
Exactly.
Thank God for them.
California Association of Realtors also reports that during the first quarter of 2013 that housing affordability is not what it was 12 months ago. Yeah, hiring.
I could have told them that.
Yeah, I could have.
I don't need a study. If they would just open their ears and listen to me on my soapbox, they wouldn't need to spend all this money.
If Ben would call, or the
Ben would
California Association of Realtors would just tune in every Sunday morning. Yeah. Well, higher home prices put a dent in California's housing affordability during the first quarter of 2013. The California Association of Realtors reported the percentage of home buyers who could afford to purchase a median-priced existing single-family home, not new construction, but existing single-family home in California dropped to 44% in the first quarter of 2013, down from 56% in the first quarter of 2012, and from 48% in the fourth quarter of 2012. So we've seen a gradual slide really over the last 12 months.
Yeah. I found it interesting that the minimum annual income on the study that they did was $66,800 to buy a home priced at $350 and some change.
That seems like a low number
as
far as it really does. The home buyers needed to earn a minimum annual income of $66,800 to qualify for a purchase of $350,000 statewide, which is the statewide median home price. Yeah, existing single-family homes in the first quarter of 2012.
Oh, wait, they say assuming 20% down.
30-year fixed rate loan.
30-year fixed rate. Nice.
An interest rate of 3.55 with an APR of 3.82.
And your disclosure, your license number is? No, I'm kidding.
Yep, exactly.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
I don't know. It's going to be a wild ride, I think, though. Honestly, properties are just not coming on the market. And I don't know if it's due to folks who are out there watching the news and have become just complacent. Like they've seen it so much they don't look anymore. But if you're looking to potentially move up, now is an awesome time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could buy more square footage than the house. You could rent your house or sell your house as it is and still buy more square footage with whatever you took out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things where people who are move-up buyers need to really, really start looking at that.
Yeah. Well, online information guru Trulia says that we're watching home prices rise, and there is somewhat of a rebound. Yet another housing bubble could be on the horizon. Yeah, Trulia, a leading online marketplace for home buyers, sellers, renters, and real estate professionals, recently launched the Trulia Bubble Watch. Yeah, this isn't a little man sitting in a room blowing bubbles.
Truly a bubble watch.
Experiment, yeah. A bubble in home prices happens when prices soar above their fundamental value. In other words, they just soar too fast, which is based upon supply, demand, and realistic expectations about the future, or anticipation.
Okay, wait a
about
minute. The realistic expectation, isn't that what we've watched manipulated so finely by our government?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was pulled out.
Yeah. The new housing market indicator tracks whether home prices are in or nearing bubble territory based on how over versus undervalued home prices are relative to their fundamentals nationally and in the 100 largest metro areas. Yeah. Sounded kind of Greek to me, but
well,
we have to be very, very careful.
It's a bubble watch. Let's just say it's a bubble watch.
And there's a
rebound bubble, doesn't matter. I mean, honestly.
And I can see where bubbles would form in certain markets and not necessarily, like as an example, not necessarily in Atlanta, Georgia, where you have, inventory in literally the thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
Currently?
Yep. Versus Fresno, which could potentially see a bubble.
Yeah, I think we'll push into a bubble if we're not careful.
There is a greater likelihood that we could see a bubble if we don't see some economic conditions change.
Yeah.
What would be one of those things that would stop us? Increased inventory. From approaching a bubble, increased inventory.
What do you think of the rumor in regards to, I know we laugh a lot about the shadow inventory on the show and joke about the news about that. But I have heard a lot of folks out in the marketplace that we do business with talking about inventory that the banks are holding. What do you think of that hypothesis?
Again, where are they getting their information? Is it speculation? Is it an article? Is it just a gut? Is it a hunch? Did they talk to John at the coffee shop, and is that where they got the information? Again, I think a lot of it's speculation. I don't know how many asset managers has any one of those people or agents spoken with that said, hey, let me tell you right now, we've got properties in the thousands that we've been sitting on in your county or in your neck of the woods, Central California, let's say, and you better get ready because they're coming. I just don't.
You don't see it?
I'm not feeling it.
Okay. I'm just curious because I know it's a huge rumor out there, and a lot of folks in our industry I've heard speak of it. So I'm just curious what your take was.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
Need some facts to back it up.
Yeah, all that plausible. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that we share with you on our show, give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. You can also go to our website. Just ask Craig. Go to valleywidesells.com. Again, that's valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use press 4 keywords.
Friend Valley Wide on Facebook.
Or use press 4 keywords.
KMJ, call Valley Wide.
To call into the show anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Well, coming up, we're going to take some listener questions. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Mortgage interest rates are at historic lows, and there's never been a more affordable time to buy real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let the mortgage professionals at Valley Wide help. Valley Wide Homes has been helping homeowners with their mortgage needs since 1997. When it comes to the Valley's real estate, we know our way around the neighborhood. Call toll-free, 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valley Wide Homes to work for you. Valley Wide Homes, NMLS number 342062, 245952, California Department of Real Estate License 01228460. Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Did you know that all the tickets you can buy on different websites come from the same place? Did you know that you can buy every ticket you need to any event in the country? The whole country. From Pete's Seats right here in Fresno. If that's the case, you need to call Pete's Seats. Any ticket, anytime. Sports, concerts, theater. Hey, there's seats, and then there's Pete's Seats. Premium tickets for all events. Local, national, worldwide. Don't settle for a regular seat when you can get a really good Pete's Seat. Online at Pete'sSeats.net or simply 294-SEAT. That's 294-7328.
How much should I be saving? When can I retire? What can I do to ensure that my estate will be left in the hands of my family once I'm gone? Is my hard-earned money safe in today's markets?
With all the uncertainty in today's world, all of us at the Island Group know it is our job to provide answers to these questions. Walk with us, the Island Group at UBS Financial Services. Call me, Kate Island, at 559-248-4097. That's 559-248-4097. And take the first step in protecting your financial future.
All rights reserved. UBS Financial Services, Inc. is a subsidiary of UBS AG. Member SIPC.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, Michelle, Jimmy from Madera. Jimmy, he's a good guy.
He is.
He really is. My wife and I had an offer accepted on a property in Madera.
Okay, stop right there. Okay. Congratulations, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough these days.
You're one of a few.
You're one of the,
You're one of the 600 this month,
exactly.
countywide. That's of Fresno.
Congratulations.
City of Fresno, 500,000 people. Well, there's 600 that are buying a house.
Exactly. Sorry.
My wife and I, yeah, exactly. What's the total population of the county? I don't know, but let me tell you. When
12 get a house.
Yeah, 12 get a house. My wife and I recently had an offer accepted on we better stay on task here, on a property that's sold as is, no repairs. Okay. Now, the appraisal came in, and the report, as well as the lender, are now asking for repairs to be completed on the property before we close escrow. What do we do?
Your agent should be asking for repairs.
Yeah.
If they are, let's talk about the different kinds of repairs. You can have normal aesthetic repairs like
gingerbread,
like the room has,
a hole
graffiti on the wall or something that needs to be painted. Okay, that's aesthetic. That's a want. Then we have things that are called
health and safety.
Health and safety. Broken window, for instance. Broken windows, health and safety. You cannot sell a house in the state of California with broken windows easily because the financing will not take place on health and safety issues. If there's no plumbing in the house, that's a health and safety issue. And then lastly, you have lender required repairs. Could be a fence falling down. Could be peeling paint. Could be, something
worn
obscure.
and torn floor coverings.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Missing appliance.
Yep.
Or broken appliance, something that's not working.
And it could be a lender overlay because it may not be an FHA requirement or a Fannie Freddie requirement, but it might be a Bank of America requirement.
Right.
And I just use Bank of America or a Wells Fargo requirement, let's say.
It could be the garbage disposal. It doesn't have to be anything major either. It could be something very small. So there's different types of repairs, but if it is a lender required or a health and safety, regardless of as is, depending on who your seller is, you should go back for that request because they're not able to sell the property generally to anybody who's financing unless those are taken care of anyway.
Yeah, bottom line is negotiate. Closed mouth never gets fed.
Okay. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
There you go.
So as is can be as is,
can
but
be as is,
it
however,
can be not also.
Ask. Exactly. Now, Sam from Hanford also asked, what happens when you are in escrow on a transaction and the property is vandalized?
Ooh, we've seen this a lot.
Ay. Yeah, speaking with my buddy Lisa Fazio over at Realty Concepts, there's been a rash of HUD home vandalism that's been going on over the last, say, 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
It's happened before, but it seems like it's more pronounced.
Targeted?
And it targeted, and it also feels like, in most instances, there is no sign of forced entry. So, as an example, recently, one of our reps in our office, Tim O'Hare, they had the windows stolen out of the HUD home.
The whole entire window?
The whole entire house.
Of windows?
Of windows.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like 8 windows.
Are you kidding?
No.
And what do you do with used windows?
I don't know, but there must be a huge black market for used windows out there because it's happening.
I mean, stove, washing machine, things like that are kind of easy to plug in. Windows are not the easiest to size up for someone's house.
Yeah, it's... Well,
you know what I mean? Are you building it brand new? Okay, you can make the windows fit, but if you're not, I mean, that's kind of quirky.
So what do you do when a property is vandalized? Traditional sale.
Traditional sale, you go back to the seller, and generally they're going to have a homeowner's policy that's going to put the windows back in the house. Or the appliances back in the house, or correct the vandalism, a police report, and homeowner's insurance.
Gotcha. So what about a short sale? Whether the short sale is occupied or not occupied. Now, here's something that's extremely important to note, and I just popped into my head. If it's a short sale and the property has been vacant for over a specified period of time, there is some provision in the homeowner's insurance policy that voids coverage for vandalism if the property has not been occupied. Well, we're going to have Mike on from Farmers Insurance.
We'll have to ask him specifically.
He can talk to us about that.
But as an agent, I would definitely go back to the short sale institution and say, hey, here's what's going on. Because my experience with short sales has been that the institutions on the other side want to make it work. They want to make it go.
Right.
And so you will see some negotiability there, and they will try to assist where they can.
Most listing agents,
within reason.
Yeah, within reason. Most listing agents prep their sellers, hey, we're just going to try to help you walk away from this property.
Yeah.
So the mindset is of most sellers in a short sale transaction that
I do nothing.
I do nothing, like
Yeah,
Colonel Klink used to, not Colonel Klink, but Schultz used to say on Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah, there you go. I do nothing. And now bank owned. Now that's a totally different thing.
And it depends upon the bank. It depends upon the bank. It depends upon whether it's HUD. All HUD homes are sold as is. If it becomes health and safety, then in most instances, as you mentioned earlier, it is fixed by the field service manager. A work order notification is created. And that issue, also, if the property is not secure because of what just happened, they'll secure the property. They'll replace the window, or they'll do whatever they need to in order to fix it. But if it's not health and safety,
you're on your own?
They typically don't do anything.
Really?
If the lender then requires what just happened to be fixed, then it has to be added to a repair escrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
A repair escrow is what would be done then on a HUD.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Some good information, though, especially if we're seeing more vandalism in the area. I mean, there's not that many properties, so maybe it's not more vandalism, but it's focused vandalism on those bank-owned HUDs and whatnot.
That's what I'm getting the feeling.
Yeah. There's just not enough properties out there for the bad guys to go after.
Exactly. And keep in mind, the number of properties, as we've mentioned on previous shows, the number of REOs is dropping dramatically. So we've got, 9% of the market is REOs?
Yeah, great news, though. That means you might have equity.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, honestly, you might have equity. The market's pushing up. Let's take a look at your equity.
I gotcha. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage related questions or questions regarding the information that Michelle and myself share with you on our show, please just call. Give us a call. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Go to our website, valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use Press 4 keywords.
Friend Valley Wide on Facebook.
Or use Press 4 keywords.
KMJ, call Valley Wide.
To call into Michelle and myself anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Well, big thank you to Miss Michelle Pettis.
Thanks.
Thanks as always, kid. Appreciate when you get on your soapbox. A big special thank you on this Sunday morning to Johnny B. behind the mics. Johnny, you always make us sound so good, buddy. Thank you. Our goal with the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market so we can help bring you
back home.
Don't forget to tune into the Real Estate Radio Network next Sunday morning at 7 a.m. right here on 105.9, the FM KMJ. Local news, local talk. Make it a great day, Central Valley, and we will see you next week.
The preceding program was paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.